the Mavs as a team, I think overall more playoff experience as an organization. Now, SGA, he's got playoff experience. Dort's got playoff experience, but not overall as a team. They don't have that much.
No, and I mean,
experience.
they don't. Neither one of those guys has like major playoff experience. Now you're talking about Kyrie Irving, who's won an NBA championship.
Boom.
You know, Kyrie Irving's one of the last like old school guys. I see people saying he's one of the last OGs in the playoffs right now.
Oh yeah, you're right. He
is kinda, you know, he came. You know, he played in that LeBron championship in Cleveland, so he's been around long enough that people are saying he's one of the last old school, like this guy's old school generation, which is crazy to think Kyrie's that in that camp.
I feel old,
but I think he'd be the newest OG if you put him in there. But you have him. He's won an NBA championship. Luka has been to a Western Conference Finals. Luka has played well in the playoffs before. So, you know, they have a little bit more experience on this team. But that didn't seem to be a problem in the first round for the Thunder. They're playing a different style of basketball. They don't seem to care about it. The pressure has not gotten to him yet. You wonder if it's going to get to him now. The fact that normally these young teams aren't 1 seeds, so they don't have home court. So you have the issue of your first road, you're going on the road to start a series versus doing it at home, where it's just a lot easier to make your own adjustments. You have your crowd. If you get, you know, if the other team comes out strong against you, you have your own team to go against, you know, your own fans to support you.
Yeah.
There's just a lot more things that are helping a really, really young team do well in the playoffs. And I mean, this is a series. If I had to pick it right now, I'll say OKC, just because the amount of talent they have on that team and how well they've been playing. And it doesn't really seem like too many people have an answer for them. But this is a Mavs team that we know has 2 guys on it who can take over the game and take over series. And if Luka can shoot at a high level and not just be a volume shooter and have too many turnovers, if he can shoot at a high level, his usage rate is in a positive way as opposed to in a more negative way where he's holding on to the ball too much and he shoots under, 35% and he has 4 turnovers in a game. You have to be able to play better basketball than that for Luka, and he knows he can do it. But they're going to be bringing out Lou Dort on him probably a lot, Jalen Williams on him some too. You know, some really good young defenders who are going to try and blitz at him the same way they've been blitzing Denver. You know, you want to kind of blitz these guys and throw them off their game and make the other players beat you, and that's where Dallas is going to have to worry about it. If they really try and blitz and slow down Luka and Kyrie, can the rest of the guys make them pay enough, hit some threes? We know Maxi Kleber is probably going to be out for a little bit right now because of that injury, just taking a hard fall on his shoulder. So, you know, if he's out, he's somebody that had, 2 big games in the last series where he hit some big threes. So can somebody else step up and hit those big threes and make the big plays to make Oklahoma City respect the rest of the Mavs? That's the big question in this series. If they don't have that, I don't know how they win in a series that Oklahoma City just has too many options. And the defense of the Mavs, as good as it's been for some of it with the other players, you know, they can find other guys. And Jalen Williams and SGA are going to get theirs. Josh Giddey's a good passer. He has not been the offensive threat scoring-wise, but he's still a pretty good passer. Doesn't play a ton of minutes in these games either. He's kind of slowed down as one of the stars. Chet Holmgren, you know, you're going against him. Daniel Gafford got abused in that first series and had to keep coming out of the game. Can Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford stay on a guy now that's not going to be beating him in the post, but he can go inside. He can play outside. Can you play defense on Chet Holmgren, or does he have a coming out party? You know, there's just so many weapons that Oklahoma City has, and the Mavs have to play at a really, really high level. Everyone on the court has to do it. So it's going to be rough. I can't wait to watch it because you know what Kyrie and Luka can do.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can bet on them doing it 4 games out of 7.
Yeah. And I don't know if the Mavs have been playing really good defense. Toward the end of the year, they were playing some of the best defense in the NBA. And even that series versus the Clippers, now it helps that Kawhi didn't play most of the games. But they limited the Clippers to fewer than 95 points in 3 games in that first round. I don't know how it's going to – I don't know if it translates as well to OKC because they got a lot more weapons.
Because the Clippers were a very much star-based system.
Yeah.
And Westbrook did not play well. James Harden had some bad games in there as well. And that was defensively for the Mavs putting it on them. But once you lose those guys out, it was Zubac who was kind of the standout player. Everybody else on the team maybe had one good game. But in OKC, if you haven't watched Jalen Williams play this season, they have two of them. But Jalen, I believe is the one who is doing really, really well. SGA, of course, is a MVP candidate. He's one of those guys that's one of the best players in the league. You throw in there what Chet Holmgren can do at 7 feet tall, and can shoot a three and can go post you up and go inside. And, Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford are not guys that are going to really push you out. So he's not playing against a guy that's necessarily going to keep him out of the paint. So there's just so many weapons, and that doesn't include Lou Dort, who can hit threes. If Lou Dort starts hitting threes on you and playing defense, those are the problems. Some of those other guys. If Josh Giddey hits threes, it's a problem. And so you have to hope that you're able to kind of pressure those guys enough to make them miss some shots and get those balls and come back down the other end of the court. But I'd say going fast again for the Mavs. I know this is a younger team. You'd probably want to slow it down sometimes. But if you let their defense get set, it's going to be more difficult on the Mavs to score when they try and go in these ISOs against really good young defenders who are going to be able to play minutes.
Yeah, with Chet at the rim, protecting the rim too. No, I'm with you on that. And I know they're going to have trouble defending Luka and Kyrie, but it's really going to come down to, I think, like we always said, stars and clutch time. This matchup could go either way. I think right now Oklahoma City is where I'm leaning, but I'd love to see the Mavs. I'd love to see Luka take over. I thought Luka would win MVP. That was not the case, but I think he could make some people regret their vote if he showed out in this playoff series. He's going to have to in order for them to beat